watched The L Word in 1 week. That's about 50 hours of watch time in 1 week. And throughout that entire period, I did the bare minimum to survive. I didn't get out of bed unless I needed to pee or eat. And when I did eat, it was just ramen. I would just warm it up, come back in my room, and watch more of The L Word. I'm not gonna lie, during that period of time, I was musty. I'm talking about hot dog water because I wasn't taking a shower. I'm telling you, I did the bare minimum because all I wanted to do was watch The L Word. And that's all I did. And while I was doing it, I heard that voice of ambition telling me, why? Why are you doing this? You could be doing something better. You could be more productive. And I wanted to. I want to be doing something more. I have goals and dreams and passions, and I want to be my best in this world. But despite wanting all of that, I couldn't seem to get out of bed to do it. All I wanted to do was watch The L Word. And so I'm battling these two sides of me. One that's lazy and wants to do nothing, and the other side that's disappointed in me because I'm not achieving my full potential. And I wanted to change so bad. Like, I wasn't feeling so good about watching The L Word. I wanted to change, but I didn't know how. My name is Faith, if you don't know who I am. And my entire goal with this page is to help you reach your goals. If you are serious about that, and you want to change your life and reach those goals, go ahead and lock in right now by subscribing, because I make videos and post them every single day, all designed to make you better and help you reach your goals. If you're still watching this video, that means you relate to my story. There's something you want to do in this world. You have goals and you have big ambitions, but when it comes down to acting on it, it is so hard for you to do. It's easy to be lazy, but it's hard to achieve your greatness. Now, there is a reason for that. You might not like it, but I've got to share this with you because if you really want to tap into that potential, this is something you need to know. A couple years ago, I'm scrolling through my YouTube feed trying to find some video when one pops up titled Motivation. And it catches my attention because if anybody needs motivation, it's your girl. I need it real bad. So I clicked the video, and on it is some neuroscientist named Andrew Huberman talking about motivation. But he doesn't say motivation. He says dopamine. Now, I've heard dopamine before. I know that dopamine is something that it releases when you feel pleasure. So, like, if I had chocolate, dopamine would release in my brain and I'd feel pleasure. Well, in this case, he's talking about dopamine as more than pleasure. And he goes in detail about this rat experiment. So imagine there's two rats in a cage. One rat has dopamine, and another rat has been drained of dopamine. If you give each rat cheese, they'll both like it. So even if you have dopamine, you don't have dopamine, you'll enjoy the cheese, you'll feel pleasure. Those rats felt pleasure. And they could tell they felt pleasure because it's something rats do, like they lick the lips, whatever. But the idea that dopamine is for pleasure was out the window. And this is when the experiment got really interesting. They moved the cheese a rat length away, just a small length away. And the rat with dopamine went to get the cheese. But the rat without dopamine did not get the cheese. In fact, it just sat there and starved to death. So from that experiment, they learned dopamine isn't for pleasure, it's for motivation to go get the pleasurable thing. And when I heard that experiment, I sat back and I thought, wait, so if I don't have dopamine inside of me, that means I'm not gonna have the motivation to go after the thing I want. And I started thinking about that week when I spent every waking hour I had watching The L Word, despite wanting to reach my goals and do better and be productive. I realized being productive, achieving my goals, that was the cheese being pulled away. The thing I wanted, I did not have the dopamine inside of me, the motivation inside of me to go seek it. Instead, all I was doing was watching this easy thing in front of me. And I'm in that connection that I'm not lazy, I don't have enough dopamine inside of me. I was like, okay, well, how do I improve my dopamine? And when I started thinking about how to improve my dopamine and start working on that, then the motivation to do the hard things I'm doing right now and every single day kicked in. Now, this was a very oversimplified explanation of dopamine. There's so many things I left out because I only have 8 minutes to make this video, but I do have an entire hour-long video where I go into more detail about dopamine and how to improve your dopamine. But the lesson of this video that I want you to understand is that you are not lazy because you're lazy. You're lazy because you have no dopamine inside of you. And I'm saying no dopamine actually matters. You have a little bit of dopamine, but not enough to have the motivation, discipline to get the thing you really want, to go through the hard work and the effort to achieve greatness. Without that dopamine, without enough dopamine inside of you, you won't achieve your ambition. You might feel lazy right now, but if you improve your dopamine, you won't. Now, how do you improve your dopamine? I can't get into it in this video, but if you go down to my description and get that first link, you'll learn how. If you want to reach your goals, there's only 3 things you gotta do. One is take action, and the action step you can take today is to go down to my description and click on the first link you see, which is gonna take you to the guidebook on how to improve your motivation by improving your dopamine. Number 2 is stay consistent. Do not stop watching that video until you have watched it all the way through. I'm talking about the dopamine one, because once you learn what it takes to improve your dopamine and how much that will affect your life, everything will change for you. Don't just watch 2 minutes of it. Stay with it until you finish, and then go through the exercises in that book every single day for at least 2 minutes, and you will notice a big difference in your dopamine and in your drive to achieve the greatness you know you have inside of you. And number 3 is make your goals happen. But you can't make your goals happen until enough time passes. And you can't fast forward through time, you can't skip through time, but you can influence how time changes you and your reality through the actions you take and how consistent you are in taking it. You've got this. I believe in you.